People do not lose each other all at once. They lose each other in ordinary life, in the conversations that keep circling the point without touching it, in the chore nobody assigned, but one person keeps doing, in the bill that changes the air before anyone says money. They lose each other while love is still there. The house can still run. The kids can still be fed. The jokes can still get real laughs. And all the while, nobody wants to admit that having the important discussion costs more than it returns anymore. From the outside, life can look intact enough that everybody involved keeps calling the problem different things. Then one day, you realize there is no word big enough. This book is about the lie underneath all of it. The lie that if something is functional, it must be fine. The lie that if both people are trying, the cost must be fair. The lie that if nobody meant harm, nobody is allowed to be hurt by what kept happening anyway. The lie that responsibility proves love, even when it starts leaving bruises. Jake and I did not create opposite, mirrored resentments for fun, although we both seem to have a talent for it. We built them the way people build most painful things, in small steps, with reasons, and with enough good intentions to avoid calling the problem by its real name. It was never only a fight. It was what the fight protected. It was what the fight avoided. It was the way two people can become responsible for completely different parts of the same life and still wonder why they feel alone next to each other. I know this because parts of it happened in my house. This did not start with one marriage. My marriage is part of the story. It is by no means the whole story. Before I could explain any of this, I could feel it all. People often think that with money, talent, faith, ambition, degrees, history, and every other accolade, everybody should have every reason to be fine. They are rarely fine. Everyone is usually fine in public and exhausted in private. This is one of the most expensive versions of fine, and when I looked closer, I found the same thing kept appearing under every frustration. It did not matter if the frustration was about money or roles, parenting, business, sex, silence, the calendar, or nothing. The responsibility somebody kept carrying for both people changed as the topic changed. The root never did. In my own marriage, it did not arrive as one dramatic collapse. Real life is rarely that generous. It kept happening through mornings, money, kids, business, loss, grief, pride, loyalty, and the kind of private management that can look like maturity until you realize it is also helping the other problems survive. I did not write this because I observed relationships from a clean little perch and came back with tidy conclusions. I wrote this down the way I did because I had to find a way to say what was happening before it cost us everything. Jake, my husband, knows this book exists. He is not tucked behind protected scenes and careful language so I can look cleaner. He appears here as the man I married, the man I love, and the person who lived through this with me. He did this while carrying his own grief, fear, pride, loyalty, and his own wrong turns. He is not a villain. I am not a saint. That version would have been easier to write. I have no interest in turning a real person into a lesson with a face. Jake made it impossible for me to pretend the problem was simple. Our marriage did that too. Our children were a bigger part of that still. So the life we built, and the parts of it we did not know how to see while we were busy keeping it going, is how I found myself in the divide. The divide is a space that can stay unnamed while two people keep adding responsibility to cover it. The space between what gets done and what gets counted. Between what is said and what is meant. Between what one person absorbs and what the other person believed was never asked of them. The conversation that goes a little wrong for years until distance starts to feel like it has its own personality. But this book is not that. That just happens to be where this book begins.